Welcome back to the River City Lifestyle Podcast. You are here with Gsanger, Garrett, Jeannie, Tabor, and I'm Christian Owen. And today we are talking about teaching young people, our children, future generations, how to love themselves in a world with so many mixed messages. And we're not trying to be unusually heavy today. We just think this is just throughout our culture, we are just inundated with what flavor of the month are you supposed to be today?
Yeah.
And we think everyone's affected by it, all ages, but I think that we have some responsibility to be good models to young people. And I'm going to start with Kip, because she used to be a counselor for Moondance, and she took young people, junior high teenagers, maybe college too, all over the world. And she, really had some quality time with them.
Yeah. So this company I used to work for, it's an adventure travel company for teenagers. And I would lead a group of about 12 junior high and high schoolers in different scenarios where we're backpacking, whitewater rafting, really challenging themselves and also learning to work together as a team and as a group and respect each other in such a different environment. And I think a big piece of working with that age group for us as leaders was to encourage them to be silly, goofy, and fun. Because coming into the trip, you could tell guards were up and they were really wanting to control how they were perceived by their peers, which I understand. I think that's a huge part of middle school and high school now with social media. And so they would come in really nervous about how these strangers, what they would think about them, and especially doing such new activities that are physically challenging and mentally challenging as well, that can put you in a really vulnerable position. So encouraging them from the start to not take it so seriously. We're all gonna mess up. We're all not gonna be the best at some activity, and that's okay. And so creating spaces and for them to just really be silly and let their guard down, and not force that, of course, but encourage them to just relax in that way. Because I was very surprised with especially high schoolers of how kind of tightly they held to a lot of that. And so whether it was playing games or listening to music and encouraging them to sing, and a lot of that came from like the leaders who, we were college age kids, who they could like kind of look up to, maybe thought were cool, maybe, and us doing it first. So really leading by example and opening that up, and singing a Hannah Montana song really loud, or being really bad at rock climbing and like being okay with it. It really helped the group come together, and also it helped me get to know these kids really well, because then they were silly, being themselves, and some of them weren't silly people, and that's okay too. Like, that's not going to be everyone's personality. So
did you see them grow and change as the time frame went on?
Yes. Like a longer trip I led was 25 days, and so you're together for a long time, and there are no phones, no TVs, no nothing. And
that's the key.
you can,
I mean,
the total key. And you really saw them grow. Like someone who was so scared like the first day of trekking, then by day 10 they were like ready for each day. And that was my favorite part of it too. And just them recognizing how capable they were. And I think a lot of that comes from just being vulnerable and letting your hair down a little bit. But
I love that.
Yeah.
Well, what I was thinking about really probably starts a little earlier than that. It's a little bit two parts, but the first one is to try to find for each of your children, I guess I'm talking about my children, where the intersection is between what they are interested in and what they're capable of, so that they can find something they're passionate about. And they don't have to be the best at it, but if what they are kind of geared towards can match something, you can put them in the ability to do is so wonderful. And I was laughing with one of my children this morning talking about this very subject, and they said, and it doesn't have to be what their dad's really good at. So, just forcing them to go to baseball practice and throwing the ball is great. And they might end up wanting to do what they wanted to do, but they might also want to pick up some markers and draw or be in a play or play chess. And so I would say we got better at that as the children progressed, but trying to find what they're really excited about. And then the second part is supporting them in it, taking them to the classes. It's a lot of work. Everybody as a parent knows it's not what you want to be doing. Swim meets were the thing we spent a lot of time doing, and good Lord, that's not fun, except when you can have the country club special. Made it handing out ribbons a little more challenging, but that's a different story. But, and we talked also about this morning, is the support system, the broader the better. We spent a fair amount of time when our children were growing up planning trips with and fun weekend evenings with other families.
Yeah.
And they got to, it's like an extended family system, almost like cousins, because we didn't have any cousins in town. And these family groups have stayed in touch. They have little text chains, but those parents were like aunts and uncles to my children, and they also modeled good behavior. They also supported them in the activities they were interested in. And bonus, when you're kids' age, they're networking people too. They got comfortable reaching out to these adults about, hey, I need some help. I don't necessarily want to talk to my mom and dad about this, but can you help me think of this profession that you're interested in? So I could go on and on. I love the topic of raising children. It's just fun.
And building on that, for my daughters are both still teenagers, but older teenagers. But my oldest, it was also supporting her and just remembering that everything is a phase. When she was wearing really severe makeup, not getting too fussed about it because it's makeup. It comes off, and I knew that this was going to change as she changed. She liked to wear tights and rip holes in them, which would annoy me because I just bought these really nice tights for her, and then she thought they looked better with holes in them, right? And again, though, reminding yourself, okay, no, this is, again, it's a phase. And by the time she graduated from high school, she was just this, beautifully polished young lady, makeup flawless, all of that. And she did that. And we tried really hard to let her have her style, even though it wasn't our style. I think that's really important. And talking about social media, one of her strategies, I'm not sure if it was influenced by us or friends, but she now carries a book with her in her purse. So when she sits down in a cafe, or if she's traveling or whatever, she tries to challenge herself to pick up the book rather than her phone. And then she posts on Instagram about the books that she reads to her friends. Just, it's a way, I guess, of connecting that to social media for her. And in my younger daughter, it's really about reminding her, like you were saying, Kit, to have fun and be silly and to not care and always be goal oriented. And it's hard, but I think, as she grows, she's doing better and better with that, and realizing that life isn't just about getting the best grades or the best scores. And it's hard because social media exacerbates that in the children. I know that the students and the friends of my daughter, who's a junior in high school, they have been since 6th or 7th grade, all hyper-focused on everything they're doing is going to impact their college application. I don't remember thinking about that when I was in 7th grade, but they see it, it's around them, and they see it online, and they, it stresses them out, and it makes me sad. But like you said, it's about finding ways that they enjoy for them to relax and be themselves and kind of be silly, let their hair down.
Be 15.
Right, exactly.
Well, when I was thinking about advice I might bring to the table, I was thinking about, it's just about time, our most valuable asset, and spending time. Quality time, yes, but almost as important is non-quality time, ordinary time with young people, your children, being present. That to me is, it's sometimes all we can do, but it's sometimes all that's needed. And that reminds me of how I'm always reminding myself, we have 2 ears in one mouth, you know? So I think that would be my tip.
Great advice.
We're all sisters and daughters and friends, and we all have different leadership roles and relationships. But I think spending time with people, and not just perfect time, but or planned out perfectly. You know, I've got a color-coded calendar. I'm sure a lot of y'all do too. It's always got way too many colors on it. But you know, just putting that aside sends a big message to anybody who you're trying to have a good relationship with. So I think just to recap, I think it's important to, for sure, lighten up, be silly, right? Have a good time. And I think both of y'all's point to encouraging individualism and choosing your battles and realizing it could be a phase, but maybe it's not. Maybe it's something that's meaningful to them, and it might actually grow into what their path is supposed to be. And then I think circling back and closing, you know, the social media and all the messages that we are getting, I guess this has always been the case. It's just that the platform now is social media, but we've always been getting a lot of messages from above, as in like culture and Hollywood or here. But now we hear it 24/7. I think that's a lot of the difference, is that we're getting it 24/7, too much more, more routinely.
And it's curated and not necessarily reality, which
Right.
is different. That's
That's
an AI generated version of
Yeah.
15-year-olds, whatever.
Exactly.
You know,
right. We think we're supposed to look like the photoshopped image. For sure. So anyway, all these messages are telling us and young people who they should be. And wrapping up with what I was saying is being present, not necessarily in a agenda planned event. Just being present with them is telling them, you know, you're already enough.
That's great.
And I'm going to spend my time with you.
I love that.
That's important.
Anyway, we hope we didn't get too deep today. But, you know, these things are important. We can't just always be laughing and having a good time. But we do like to do that a lot. So check back with us soon.